How many of you have ever read or heard the story, the Rose Group in Concrete?
Huh?
It's pretty much a story about a Mexican immigrant that goes to college, and obviously graduates from high school, goes to college, and he was willing to do it despite all the odds against him. It's violence, gangs, so that's a lot of the situation for 8540 students. They have a lot of obstacles in front of them, and a way that can help them achieve their goals and dreams would be through the Dream Act. And I wanted to get all of you guys involved with the movement to pass the Dream Act in any way possible. I believe that it should be passed because we need contributing citizens in our community. We need to stop denying residency and citizenship and financial aid to these undocumented students. And it's also a reasonable solution that will meet halfway. So there's a lot of 8540 students that need this residency and citizenship to live in our community. So how many undocumented people are in California? The previous chancellor from City College, San Francisco, states that in his article that nearly 11 million undocumented residents are in the United States as of March 2005, and 24% of them have lived in California. So it's a lot of people that we're dealing with. So could you imagine how all these people would benefit the state and the government? In Spartan Daily, there's an article with Gregorio Mora Torres, a Mexican-American studies lecturer, who talks about the parents of the 8540 students and how they already pay taxes. So why shouldn't the students be able to pay taxes themselves? There are plenty of them just ready to work, just waiting to be able to. And they're already here, so we don't need to convince them with anything because they're here. And Hinda Sarah says in her article that the undocumented youth are the future of California as well. And why do these students need the residency and citizenship anyways? Simply, without it, they can't work. So I've talked to you guys about the 8540 law, but that only goes as far as to allowing the students to pay in-state tuition. And the DREAM Act, which stands for Development Relief and Education for Alien Minors Act, provides a residency and citizenship for them. And there will be college graduates already, have been here for 5 years at least, and show good moral character as stated in the actual bill. And since I've told you guys about why we need to pass this bill for the better of the students and our community, you must be wondering, why do they need this in the first place? The reason is because these students can't get the residency, citizenship, and the financial aid for a lot of things. The most obvious reason is because they're immigrants, so they're not natural born here in the U.S. And being natural born pretty much means having the birth certificate stating you're born in the country. And these undocumented students can't change that. That's predetermined from them by their parents. So it's not really their fault. Another common reason is based off old world thinking. Just that old world thinking is pretty much the idea that the immigrants are going to take over the U.S. and the average citizen that's already here is going to take over, in the inferior side. So the law, that won't happen because the law is already designed. So the people qualifying for that act will already be been here for a long time, so they're not really immigrants. And it won't cause a chain effect either, because it already states in the bill that it only applies to people that are between the ages 12 and 35 when the bill is already established. I believe that we need to think more positively and more realistic about this. The same professor, Gregory Torres, also states that we have to be more practical about the situation as well. And since the U.S. already provided them with more than 12 years of education, why shouldn't we just give them the extra 4? That's the most important. And another reason for providing the financial aid for these students is simply people saying that they're not supposed to be here anyways, and we need the money more. This, I believe, is ignoring the situation, and it's pretty childish in a sense, because whenever I hear someone say that, I picture a little kid just ignoring the problem, just shoving it under the rug, and just not dealing with it. And as I was growing up, my father always told me the same. If you think college is expensive, try ignorance. I believe that that's pretty true. Ignorance can be expensive because you won't have the money. So there are many activists like Kinda Sarah that argue that education is a right for everybody. This is obviously a belief for the U.S. because there is free public education anyways from kindergarten to 12th grade. So, and nobody really has a say who deserves more money than who, because everybody has different situations where they come from. So now you heard why they're being deprived of residency, citizenship, and financial aid. So what could you do to help this cause? Well, first off, there's already a solution, the Dream Act. So to get that around, it's pretty much word of mouth by telling others about the situation. It'd be really good if you were able to tell other people about it, because it's not a common topic that is usually talked about with anybody. And it could be an informational topic for people that are politically active. There's also social networking like Facebook, and it gets to a lot of people. And for people that are really interested in seeing the action, it would be good to attend local events. And those happen all year actually. And the best way for us students to get involved is to go to events sponsored by student organizations here on campus. Like I've been involved with 2. It's called SAHIT and SQUE. It's Student Advocates for Higher Education and Students for Quality Education. They always host rallies, marches, anything, conferences, fundraisers to save money for that cause. And so there's also for people that are a little not too into the action. The most important part is to, when the time comes, to go vote. When that bill is ready to be voted on, to vote. Because one extra vote from you guys, along with everybody else, that would make the difference. So passing the DREAM Act will provide contributing citizens and residents, and it's also a reasonable solution for this ongoing problem. And again, the community and the undocumented students really need you guys to participate in the movement to pass this DREAM Act. Even the smallest thing would be really appreciated by everybody. So there are many 8540 students at San Jose that are examples of roses that grew